Many men have stopped caring about how they dress, but that's exactly why you should stand apart. You join me today in the beautiful Centennial Park here in Sydney. Until today, I'd never actually walked around this place, but I'm very glad I did. I feel absolutely spoiled to live here. One of the first things you'll notice when you start to dress better is the confidence that you immediately start to feel. As we all know, first impressions really matter, and whether we like it or not, people are immediately judging how we present ourselves. And obviously a big part of that is how we dress. So when you start to dress better, when you put on a nice tailored suit, when you maybe invest in a nice watch, when you pay attention to how your clothes fit you, regardless of what garments you wear, it starts to indicate to the world that you care about your appearance. And when you care about your appearance, you have a level of self-respect, which people then start to admire in you and start to take you seriously. And the confidence that you get is then infectious, because when you feel more confident, you feel a lot better about yourself. When you feel better about yourself, you become much more magnetic to the people around you, whether that be in your dating life or even in your professional career. If you're aspiring to get a promotion, to elevate yourself in a professional context, I think it really does start with the basics of dressing professionally, dressing correctly for your environment. Now, it's important to remember that dressing well doesn't just mean wearing a suit or a tie or looking smart all the time. A big part of it just comes down to dressing appropriately for your environment. Take, for example, where I live in Sydney, Australia. This is a city where everyone loves to be active. It's a very outdoorsy type of city. The weather is fantastic. I love myself going for a nice walk or a run or to the gym, and who doesn't love a trip down to the beach when the sun's shining, right? And what that means is a lot of people, society in general, that's men and women, dress very casually. Gym wear, active wear is extremely popular here in Sydney, especially when it's a nice day. And unless you're a banker or a businessman going into the city to work a very professional job, you don't see that many men wearing suits and ties anymore. But it's still easy to elevate your outfit. Like any climate, it's important to pay attention to what materials you wear. In a hot climate like here in Australia, I often gravitate towards linen and cotton. This outfit could probably be called smart casual in many circles. Wearing a shirt these days is not often that popular when it's a hot day. This is why it's important to know your materials. See, what I'm wearing today is made out of a blend of cotton and linen in the t-shirt and 100% linen in the trousers. Linen is a very breathable fabric, which allows the air to pass through, and it's made of completely natural fibers. So it's extremely comfortable when you wear it in hot climates. So while it would be very easy for me to just throw on a gym t-shirt or a tank top and shorts, even though I'm wearing a shirt and trousers, because I looked to see what they were made out of, I actually feel very comfortable. And this is an elevated look, which makes me a little bit more smartly dressed than what would be expected. Similarly, if you're in a colder climate, dressing appropriately for there and paying attention to the essentials and then making small upgrades from there is the way to go. I do think that for many men, there's an inherent fear when it comes to dressing smartly. I can think of numerous examples of men I've spoken to whereby even putting on something like a blazer or a button-up shirt feels like a step into old-fashioned clothing or something that their dad would wear. But truth be told, when you make that first step, when you dress just a level above what everyone else is without standing out too much, you start to feel 10 foot taller. Now, there's numerous men in history who you could follow that would be an inspiration for you. As you'll see from my channel, I take a lot of inspiration from the character of James Bond. That man, throughout the decades, has proven that dressing well doesn't just necessarily mean following a trend. Yes, there are certain styles which will come and go. Wider lapels versus narrower lapels, skinny versus slim fit, baggy fit versus boot cut. But at the end of the day, dressing well is completely timeless. And when you start to add essential pieces to your wardrobe, which are what we would call classic menswear, you're future-proofing your style. As I said, society today expects most men to not dress the part and to blend in. So as soon as you start to elevate your style, a lot of people will look at you and think, why are you dressed like that? Many people might even question you and say, why do you always look like you're dressed to go on a job interview? But gentlemen, never forget, a wise man once said, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And what that means is that if you can start to take care of your appearance and start to dress well, then oftentimes that leads into you caring a lot more about your health about your fitness, about your career, about your finances. And when you level up how you're presenting to the rest of the world, that can be the starting point for you leveling up your life in general. Dressing well is just one of many facets of becoming a good man. It can serve as the starting point for carrying yourself better, looking better, and feeling better about yourself.
So gents, I'd love to hear about your own style journeys. Let me know in the comments, how have you felt since you started dressing better? Dressing well is of course a journey, but when you start showing up, looking your best, and putting effort into how you present yourself to the world, you're going to start feeling benefits in more ways than you could possibly imagine.